Okay, here's the solutions to the 2004 credit paper with some added National 5. First questions are a number question as normal. So brackets first, 4.53 minus 1.10. That gives us 3.43. And then we have to take that off 6.2, so make it 6.20. Take away 3.43, and that gives us 2.77. Question 2. Now, the only thing you're finding 2/5 of is the first part. Then you're adding the 4/5 to the answer. So, first sum we need to do is 2/5 times 3.5. So turn the 3.5 top heavy, make it 7/2. The 2's would cancel out, and that then gives us 7/5. Now we need to take that 7/5 and add on 4/5, which gives us 11/5, or 2 1/5 as a mixed number. Question 3. Substituting 3 in gives you 2 times 3 squared. Take away and then substitute the negative 4 in. So 3 squared is 9 times 2 is 18. Negative 4 squared is 16, and 18 take away 16 is 2. Number 4, single fraction. Using your good old kiss and smile method. Then m times m plus 1 for the bottom. New top numbers are 3 times m plus 1 plus 4 times m. Removing the brackets, 3m add 3 add 4m over m times m add 1, which simplifies to 7m add 3 over m times m add 1. Question 5. There's a word missing in the question, and it should be the word more. A jar of marmalade on special offer contains 12.5% more than a standard jar. So, because we know it contains more, we want to go backwards to the standard. It's a reverse percentage question. Reverse percentage means we have 100 plus the 12.5, which is 112.5%, which is 1.125 as a decimal, and a reverse percentage means we divide by the 1.125. Now this is imagine where most people are going to have a wee bit of a problem. How do we actually do that without a calculator? So, instead of thinking of it as decimals, let's think of it as fractions. You should know that 12.5% is equal to an eighth. So 112.5% or 1.125 here is 1 whole and 1/8, which is the same as 9/8. So the question actually becomes, instead of 450 divided by 1.125, 450 divided by 9/8. How do we do that? We do 450 times 8 over 9. Now 9 goes into 450 50 times, and 50 times 8 is 400s. So the jar is 400 grams. Question 6, a lot easier than the last question. The graph goes up to 2 and down to minus 2, so the number at the front's a 2. It's a cost graph, and you have one wave in 90, so you'd have 4 in 360. So just simply 2 cos 4x. Question 7. Okay, a bit of understanding of the lines here. We're told that a is less than 0, so in other words, that's a negative number. We're told that b is less than 0, a negative number. So we're looking for something which has got a negative gradient, so it slopes down the way, and it cuts in a negative point, so that's any place down here. So you can pick any one of these at all, it's up to you, it doesn't matter which one you pick, and as long as you draw a line which slopes down the way. So that's acceptable, that's acceptable, that's acceptable. Anything that looks like that is acceptable. Question 8. Now, the gold wire is 10 centimetres long, so that means the circumference of the circle is 10 centimetres. Formula for circumference is pi times d, so pi times d is equal to 10 centimetres. So the diameter is 10 divided by pi, changing the subject. The radius then is just half of that, and half of 10 is 5. So the radius is 5 over pi. What's the formula for the area of a circle? Pi r squared, or pi times, and we've just worked out the radius, 5 over pi squared, which is pi times 25 over pi squared, 5 fives and pi times pi. This pi here cancels with one of these pi's on the bottom, and you're left with 25 over pi, which is just what the question says. Number 9, back to another easy one, completing the square. Number in the bracket is half the coefficient of x, so that's x minus 4 squared. Minus 4 squared is equal to 16. How do you get from 16 back to 10? The way you get back to 10 is by taking off 6. So x minus 4 squared minus 6. Question 10. Radio signals travel at 3 times 10 to the power 8 metres per second. Question asks you how long is that going to be in 8 hours. So it's 3 times 10 to the 8 multiplied by 60 for minutes, multiplied by another 60 to put it into hours, and then multiply by the 8, because that's how many hours the questions ask you for. And if you do all that, you get an answer of 8.64 times 10 to the power 12 and that's 12 metres. Sorry, times 10 to the power 12 metres. Question 11. Find the equation of this line. Well, the gradient is the height, which is 100, divided by the horizontal distance, which is 150, sloping down the way, so it's a negative number. So that's negative 2/3. So the equation is V equals negative 2/3 t plus 100, because it's going through the point 100 up here. Okay. Note that we've given the answer in terms of V and T, not Y and X, because the question's in V and T. How long will it take to lose 30 litres? Now, if it's to lose 30 litres, then that means that inside you've got 70 litres left. So in other words, when will negative 2/3 t plus 100 equal 70? So we need to solve that. Take that out so it's getting away. Oops. Okay. Take the 100 over first of all, and you get negative 2/3 t is equal to 70 minus 100 is negative 30. The negative signs will cancel each other out. Then take the 3 over, then take the 2 over, so you get 30 times 3 when it comes over, divided by 2 when it comes over. 90 divided by 2 is 45, and it's measured in minutes, so 45 minutes. Question 12, our compound interest, it decreases by 20%, so that's 100 minus 20, which means there's 80% left, turned into a decimal is 0.8. We're doing it for 3 hours, so to the power 3 times the starting value, which was 250, and on your calculator that comes out to be 128 milligrams. Question 13. You have a helicopter, it's between points A and B. First thing I look at this when I see this question, I see 2 angles, so I automatically work out what the third angle is, even before I've looked at the question, because I know that's got to go in there someplace. Now, question's asking the shortest distance to the nearest boat. So the shortest distance is opposite the smallest angle, so that's this distance here we're trying to find. So let's call that x. We know the side and the angle, so that tells me it's going to be a sine rule question. So x over sine 50 equals 1500 over sine 75. Take the sine 50 over and you get x as 1500 over sine 75 times sine 50. And if you type all that in your calculator, you get an answer of 1189.6 metres. Question 14. Solve the equation. Well, if we take the plus 1 over first of all, we get minus 3. Then we take the 4 over, sine x is negative 3/4. At this point, we need our all sine tan cos diagram. Sine is equal to a negative number, so we're going to tick the negative places for sine, which is here and here. Now, remember, when we go to use the calculator, we forget the negative sign is there. So what we're typing in the calculator is second sine 3 divided by 4. And that gives us an answer of 49 degrees. So the answer for the A box is 49 degrees. It's not our answer, because our answer are in these boxes, which is 180 plus and 360 minus. So 180 plus 49 is 229, and 360 minus 49 is 311. Question 15. Okay, what have we got here? The length of the lawn is 3 times the breadth. So we know that the breadth is x, so we know that's going to be 3x. We know that the path is 1 metre wide all the way around, so that distance there is also 1 metre. The area of the lawn is equal to the area of the path. Well, the lawn, which is in the middle, this bit here, that's easy to get. How do you work out the area of a rectangle? Length times width, so 3x times x. So the lawn is going to be 3x squared. Okay, let's make a note of that. The lawn is 3x squared. The path, now that's a wee bit different. To work out the area of the path, there's lots of different ways of doing it. Probably the easiest way to do it would be just to split it up into two rectangles that are the same, and then a third rectangle on the top. So if we look at this first rectangle, okay, this one here, and we ask how wide is it? Well, we know it's 1 wide. How tall is it? We know it's x for the bottom part plus 1. So it's going to be x plus 1. So that blue rectangle is x plus 1 times 1, which is x plus 1. There's the same on the other side. So that's going to be another x plus 1 plus 1. And then a little part up the top here, we know that it's 3x wide, and we know it's 1x long, or 3x long and 1 wide, doesn't matter which way, and 3x times x is 3x. So that's the first rectangle, the second rectangle, and the third rectangle. Now adding all those together gives us 5x plus 2. The question says that the lawn is equal to the path, so that means that 3x squared is equal to 5x plus 2. Rearranging that, 3x squared minus 5x minus 2 is 0, as the question asked. Quite difficult. Now, you don't need to be able to work that out to answer the second part of the question. Second part of the question, you can use that answer. So don't think because you couldn't do the first part that the second part is out with your capabilities. It's not. Find the length of the lawn, so in other words, solve that equation. How do we solve that? Factorise it. 3x and x, 2 and 1, 3 2's are 6, so 3 negative 2's are negative 6, and then add 1 makes it 5. Solving each of those little brackets gives us x is negative a third and x is 2. Negative a third, that's impossible. Right, the length cannot be a negative number. So score that out and say it's impossible. So the answer you're going to use is x is 2. You know that the length of the lawn is 3x. So the length of the lawn is going to be 3 times 2, 6 metres. And the last question, number 16. Picture something like this. We know that this height is 2000. We know this height is 1800. So therefore, we know that this height here is going to be 200. Question's asking us what's this length right across here. Okay, if you draw these lines in like I've done, then hopefully you can see that you've generated a right angle triangle. So if I extract the right angle triangle, what do we know? Question tells us, sorry, got a wee interruption there. The radius is 500. Now if we go back to the picture, if this top bit is 200 and the whole radius is 500, then that means that this part here must be 300. So if I work out this size here, x, and then double it, that's going to give me the width of the doorway. So Pythagoras gives us 500 squared minus 300 squared, which is 25 minus 9, 2000, gives us 160,000, and if we square root that, we get an answer of 400. So the wee bit of the triangle is 400, so the width of the doorway is that 400 doubled. So the answer to the question is 800 millimetres. Okay, some hard stuff in there guys, some easy stuff as well. Hopefully you got a bit of everything.